What's good? It's your boy Fanon. All right, I'm going to talk about Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua, Matchroom Boxing, and the Charlo brothers. And something that came out, an interview that I read where Eddie Hearn talked about, his big announcement. I did a video yesterday on the big announcement and what Ring Magazine believed that it was going to be about. And there's also today I read the article that I'm talking about was an article out of the UK from a website, thedailymail.co.uk. I'm going to go through it, man, but there is a subscriber, or I don't know if it's a subscriber, more than likely just somebody that commented on the video from the UK that asked, why was it that you Americans don't like British promoters? And my response to him was that in general, and I said in general because I can't speak for everybody, and I could have even just said myself, I don't care for any promoters. I don't need promoters to tell me who good fighters are. I just need to see the fights. And however those happen, to me, as a fight fan, I couldn't care less if Muhammad Ali fought for Don King Promotions or whether he fought for Top Rank. And because it really didn't matter which one was which, because the person that was the most important in that scenario is the fighter. And promoters tend to be more interested in their promotional company than they are the fighters. Most times, promoters see the fighter as a piece of property. A piece of property that sits within their stable. A piece of property or a product that they have to sell. But that product, they're selling it for their own good. They're not selling it for the good of the fighter. They're not selling it for the good of the fan. So for me, a promoter is a middleman, and middlemen are necessary evils. And if they're not necessary, then they're just an evil. And that I don't need them. I don't care about them. If I can pick an apple off of a tree that's in my yard, why would I go pay the grocery store an extra 50 cents or an extra $1 for something I can get for just pulling it myself? The relationship is between me and the tree. The tree gave me the apple. Hey, I'll water the tree. We don't need Price Chopper to give me the apple. The only time that I need Price Chopper is if I can't find the apple myself. That's my view of the relationship between a fight fan, a fighter, and a promoter. And as it is right now, with the platform that you have with the PBC, I've been able to get very, very good fights without having to deal with promoters. And it didn't used to be that way. And I'm not interested in a scenario where somebody's trying to sell me on the idea that it's better for me as a fight fan that I have to pay them extra money to see the product or the person that I want to see fight. That's why I don't care for promoters. Truth be told, I don't care for sanctioning bodies. I don't care for any of the middlemen that exist between a fighter and me seeing the fight. And to the extent that they're not necessary, I don't need them. I wouldn't need a television network if I could go out of my house and go down to a local park and see Errol Spence Jr. fight Terrence Crawford. I wouldn't need it. But since I can't do that, I need them. So therefore, I need to pay my monthly cable bill or my monthly internet bill. And I need to pay my Showtime monthly subscription so I can have access to that. Otherwise, I wouldn't need them. But they are a necessary middleman. That's why I do not care for promoters. So, and that's why I think that any logical consumer wouldn't care for them. And by care for them means I'm not going to be a fan of theirs. I'm going to be critical of them because their job is going to always be to charge me as much as and give me as little as they possibly can give. And that has been my experience with promoters, with the exception of maybe one who shall remain nameless, who gave good fights all the time. However, he took his cut up out of the boxer's backside. But that'll be for another discussion. Now, before I get into the rest of this and get into that in a little bit more detail, I'm definitely going to do a live stream on this. Certainly hope that you attend. Best way to attend the live stream is to subscribe and hit the bell icon, and that way you can be notified of it. And also, I want to thank everybody that donated to the cause in Patreon, Venmo, and Super Chat. Thank you very much for your support. Now, Eddie Hearn to me seems to be a guy that views fighters as pieces of property and feels as if he wants to, and his plan is to make himself an essential component of me, the fight fan, getting to see what I want to see. So much so that if he doesn't get his desired cut, he will try his absolute best to prevent me from seeing what I want to see. And if from the boxer side of it, prevent that boxer from getting what they want, which is as much money as they can for their talent as they can get. That's how I view him. And so when this article came out today, and shout out to Blood Boxing, they was referring to this cat as a plantation system. That's what this deal is. He's trying to grow a gigantic boxing internet-based plantation system where we have to pay him to come into the farm, and he's got a bunch of horses in his stable that he will trot out to us around his track, right? This application is his track. You can call it the DAZN track. You can call it the Matchroom track, or wherever he's going to try to roll these beasts out for me to come pay him for me to see. And so let's go over the language that he uses. Matchroom Boxing on Thursday announce details of a new transatlantic broadcast deal which Hearn believes will have a seismic impact on the sport of boxing, both in the sport in both Britain and USA. Now, for our African American Studies history students, what is the most commonly used transatlantic what? When was the last time a transatlantic deal did us any good between Britain and the UK? I will leave that to the African historians and all of the people of the diaspora to understand what the last transatlantic deal, what the major transatlantic deal is. So Eddie Hearn, Massa Hearn, wants a new transatlantic deal. Ain't that ironic? The Essex-based promoter made his first foray into American market last year and has so far staged 2 cards in New York. But his next venture will represent a far more significant stride into the market, with the prospect of 16 shows on American soil in their first year of the deal, which will begin in September at the start of the new season. It has been reported that a 4-year agreement is with streaming giants DAZN, who has been hailed as the Netflix of sport. But Hearn remained coy when questioned on the subject, with the Manhattan press conference arranged to formally reveal the ins and outs. He said, "You know me, I have a massive mouth." Yeah, I can agree with that. "So keeping it quiet is hard for me. It is something significant. It's a very proud moment for Matchroom Boxing. It's a massive moment for the sport of boxing, for American boxing, world boxing, and British boxing. It gives us every chance to build a worldwide stable. What do you put in stables? Horses. The likes of which has never been seen before in the sport. Yes, he has a transatlantic stable. Hearn's work in America has so far been centered around Brooklyn middleweight Danny Jacobs. Daniel Jacobs is the name, who has headlined both the Matchroom USA cards to date. However, Jacob currently works alongside HBO, so it's unclear how he'll fit into this new plan. Instead, Hearn is expected to pursue a long list of big-name targets to spearhead his busy schedule, and he believes he will have the funds required to sign them. Exciting twin brothers Jermell and Jamal Charlo have already been linked with a move to Matchroom, while welterweight world champion Keith Thurman is also on Hearn's hit list. He has even made clear a desire to sign WBC heavyweight champion Deontay Wilder to promotional terms as he bids to secure a unification mega fight with WBA, IBF, and WBO king Anthony Joshua. Now, here is where he begins to talk about how these people need him. Hearn added, "You need a mouth. I'm a mouthpiece. I'm just a traveling salesman." What you selling, Eddie? But where are these guys traveling salesmen? They shouldn't have to do it themselves. Look at Deontay Wilder. It's embarrassing that he's sitting on Instagram filming himself trying to build his profile off of Anthony Joshua's name. They need help, these guys. The Charlo brothers, Wilder, all these sorts of people. And when we come here in full, starting in September, these guys are all on the radar for Matchroom Boxing USA. Okay, now let me ask you a question. The obvious question to most people should be, who did Anthony Joshua build his name off of? It's a question. Who did Anthony Joshua build his name off of? Who made boxing? The answer is he built it off of boxing. Who made boxing, grew boxing, and made boxing prevalent enough for Anthony Joshua to build his name off of boxing? It was other boxers. It was guys like Muhammad Ali, Jack Johnson, Jack Dempsey, Joe Louis, Sonny Liston, Joe Frazier, Lennox Lewis, Mike Tyson, Riddick Bowe, Evander Holyfield, Vladimir Klitschko, Vitaly Klitschko. All of these boxers that came before him that made boxing, the sport of boxing, attractive to people and have fans and have these people become fans. So Anthony Joshua built his name off of boxing. Who is Matchroom Boxing building their name off of in the U.S.? The same people that Anthony Joshua built his name off of. Boxers. So Anthony Joshua built his name off of heavyweight boxers. Deontay Wilder is attempting to build his name off of heavyweight boxers. He is trying to fight Anthony Joshua in the ring to build his name. He is not just saying the guy's name and acting as if he can sit in the front row and sell tickets to Anthony Joshua while Anthony Joshua risks his life. He is trying to persuade boxing fans, us, the people who are actually paying the money to want to watch him fight. Who is on Instagram that this guy is talking to? Boxing fans. Why would he want to talk to boxing fans? The people, what? Because those people are the ones that pay the money. They pay the money. I pay the money. If you're a boxing fan, you pay the money. You either pay the money to them directly through a pay-per-view, or you pay the money through a subscription, through a television subscription, like Showtime's, HBO, whatever. Whatever they do in the UK, whatever they do in Australia. We pay for that. So what is embarrassing about Deontay Wilder trying to build his name to boxing fans by telling boxing fans that he's the guy to beat another boxer? That is nothing embarrassing about that. That's business. Why wouldn't Eddie Hearn be embarrassed about Eddie Hearn trying to build Matchroom Boxing's name off of the likes of Jamal Charlo, Errol Spence Jr., Danny Jacobs, Jarrell Miller, Dillian White, Anthony Joshua, Joseph Parker? Why isn't it embarrassing for Eddie Hearn to try to do that? Of course it's not, because he's a businessman. He's in business. And that's why, back to why I don't like promoters, because I don't need them. I don't need Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn in this Matchroom deal is not going to give me anything more than I already had without him, except for an extra $20 a month fee to see fights that I already get to see on another network. And I might get worse fights, because look at the fights that are taking place on the ESPN Plus app. You get Top Rank. You get one decent fight, maybe, on an entire card. I'm talking as a boxing fan. One. Then you get 4 mismatches. You get Vasyl Lomachenko, Guillermo Rigondeaux. And then after that, you get Michael Conlan fighting somebody who the hell knows. Can't remember the guy's name. You get Shakur Stevenson fighting somebody I don't remember the name, whoever they were. Right? I don't even know who they fought. But those were the other 2 fights that I got to see that night. That's it. I got to see Guillermo Rigondeaux. I get to see 1 mismatch, size mismatch, and 2 other fights I didn't care about. Look to Showtime, where you have guys that are not signed to promotional deals. What kind of fight cards did you get? You get Deontay Wilder, or you get Adrian Bronner versus Mikey Garcia. Then you get Gervonta Davis and Cuellar, and you get Jamal Charlo fighting Centino. Those are 4 headline quality fighters that I got on one fight card, and with the PBC. Not everybody on that fight card fought for the same promoter. You had 2 guys on there on promotional contracts. You had one guy owned his own promotional company. That's Adrian Bronner. So he worked for himself. He's not signed to a promotional deal. He is a promoter. You had Mikey Garcia, who's not signed, who's a promotional free agent. You have Jamal Charlo, who's a promotional free agent. Then you had the one guy on that is Gervonta Davis, who was signed to a promotional deal with Floyd Mayweather, and who more than likely will soon be out of it. But then look at what's going to happen in the next card that you get, where who fought on the undercard worth crap for Anthony Joshua versus Joseph Parker, and that was a pay-per-view fight. Who are you going to see when you have a seven-figure licensing fee for an entire card? But how much are the boxers getting paid? That's what Bob Arum talked about, the model of the no promotional deal. When guys don't have promoters. When you don't have the promoter, you don't have the promoter getting paid. And you can always negotiate with another promoter if you're not exclusive. Deontay Wilder can say, okay, what's my cut, Ludabella? Well, I didn't like the cut you gave me last time you offered me. I'll go fight with Main Events. And as long as Main Events can fight on the distribution network, what's the problem? But Eddie Hearn wants to own all the horses in the stable, and the only stable and the only and the only fighters that get on the track are the horses in his stable. Otherwise, he's not going to let the horse run, and he's not going to let the fans watch. Massa Eddie. That's why this deal is crap. It's crap for the fan. And it's crap for a boxer unless the boxer needs him. And the only time I think that a boxer needs a promoter is when they really do need promotion. There's no way Eddie Hearn is going to make Deontay Wilder any more well-known than Deontay Wilder already is. So why would he need him? Same thing for the Charlos. And with that, I'm out.